Hi, hello, welcome to the Councilorship brought to you by Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Fishes of Lucy. I'll be your oracle today. I don't know what's going on. I'm slightly confused, my dear, because I don't know why I'm here. They sent me. I've been assigned for something, so we'll figure out what it is. I don't even know who we're going to be talking to, so or through what realm, spirit, plane, dimension. So we'll figure it out. All I can say thus far is I feel a little trendy today. I made iced coffee for the first time. I feel so hip and trendy because that's not me. I'm way behind the times on like usual, especially anything modern or new world. Okay, so one thing that's they've been talking to me about today is that let's do one ripple. Okay, oh yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Nothing's going the way that I want it lately. It's I can see that it's time for surrender or there's a shift coming, which I know as well. So why don't we go ahead and just get started. Okay, so we got Queen. Somebody has ego. I can see your ego, your ego. I can see your ego. So they need to get saved, redeemed. They're a destroyer. I just heard a destroyer, a hoarder, and a whore. So they need to go on a journey, a pilgrimage. They need to do the dark night of the soul and the emerging from the dark night of the soul, something about maturity in their soul. They're going to be placed through ordeals, and the reason that they are this way, pardon the squiggles, the reason that they are this way is because their life has been, according to them and their logic and their language and their whatever and their what have you, and yada yada. They've been going through ordeal after ordeal after ordeal. It's because they've been smacked. Wishing you the best, pray that you are blessed with lots of joy, success, and lots of happiness. I'm better than that. Yeah, so they're not better than that. God don't. They are not making the great spirit of the universe, the governor here for this creation. They're not making. I'm sorry. This is the language. They're not making him proud. So there is a spirit that is the universe has her own spirit, but it's female, and then there's a spirit we call it that animates the creation. It's different than the universe, but the universe and the creation are nearly the same. I want to give a little bit of dialogue, but I can tell there's language and framework. The universe itself and the earth are female. However, what we call as God is actually the collective subconscious, and he has great power. And maybe we'll talk about it more. I don't like a lot of disagreements, especially when all the facts aren't straight. If you want to hoot and holler and yell and Yoda, make sure all the facts are straight. And when a person's saying, I'm not fully educated in this, or I'm not getting all my thoughts out, you got to go easy on the commenting. However, if you're curious, comment a little bit more about the dynamics of God, because I just heard that some months from now I'll be speaking on the metaphysics of deity. So why don't we explore together? But that's coming through a lot because this person is really a false queen. Excuse me one moment there. A false queen or a fallen queen or something of that nature, but they're on this destructive kick because they're feeling offended, like they got denied, they got rejected, they got called out, talked to, somebody set some boundaries, la-di-da, yada yada, and they think they're entitled to everything. They think they're entitled to do what they want. I've been getting this energy a lot. It comes from females towards me. Sometimes it's female on female, sometimes it's female to men. And, I'm a recovering man hater myself. I grew up through trauma and drama. I mean, exploitation, trafficking, the whole nine. I'm a survivor, okay? That's what's up. So I've been I'm a recovering man hater. I understand the energy. I understand what it is to walk out in the world as somebody that people want things from, and they're actually more willing to take things from than build a connection or lay the groundwork and the foundation to have this mutually beneficial needs exchange, and to go into spaces where your personal power, your autonomy is subjugated, it's obfuscated, it's denied and diluted and diminished and distorted and disowned and basically distracted from it. And when you stand in your power, it's a problem, it's your problem. Why? Because I'm not easily messed withable, because I'm not succumbing to your women whimsy, because I'm saying, hey, what you want doesn't actually work for me. I actually find that harmful. And when you communicate and dialogue that way, the other side, the other party, the aggressor, doubles down, triples down on whatever their aggression is. I get it. This person has this kind of energy. They're coming off as like this dictatorial, tyrannical, obsessive, repressive, suppressive, oppressive, controlling, dominant, militaristic. But they put a lot of energy, time, and attention into this. And so, like, why would you spend so much time cultivating a personality that stinks? And then they prey on people that this person considers a dilettante. But let me tell you about a dilettante. A dilettante is gold, this queen is red. So a queen might have possessed great power, and there's nothing wrong with the red. But you do need to watch yourself a lot more near the red gate than you do the yellow gate. So the thing about a dilettante is they're closer to God because it's like a fool that's using their brain. It's like a fool that takes notes. It's like a fool that has more than the average responsibility for what they're going through. So it's kind of like, I don't know I don't know a lot about art. I mean, that's not true. I went to an architecture digital arts high school, so I actually know a lot about art history and things of that nature. And as an anthropologist, you learn about sacred relics and all that stuff. And in divinity school, you learn about a lot. Here, what I'm trying to say is like in art, you might not know all the finer aspects of art, like brushstrokes and the time periods of the artists and how they lived, and the history of their work and how they evolved as an artist, and maybe who they studied with or studied under, or some of their initial pieces and their later pieces. You might not know all of that, but you definitely know when you enjoy the piece of art. You definitely know when it evokes an emotion. You definitely know when you've been taken into an experience, and that gallery or that studio becomes a sacred space for you to interact with the spirit of the intent, the spirit of this masterpiece or this work of art, right? And somebody else might be there like a nun with the clickers, what we call tis, 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 tis. You're not referring to the brushstrokes correctly. You didn't get the year that the artist was born. Why you gotta nitpick me, ho? Don't you have a degree? Shouldn't your degree make you feel good about yourself? Aren't you an OG up in here? Shouldn't you be off minding your own self? I didn't invite you in to critique me, and we don't have rapport like that. We ain't got it like that. What you really need, Queen, because you coming at me the wrong way, a bad way, it's not going to work out well for either of us, but I won't care. You will. Because you're sitting here upset about things that don't have anything to do with you. And you're so easily agitated, which means that you have something to prove. And you need other people to validate your little point because you can't make it to yourself and be all right and alone by yourself. So that's what I'm getting. I don't know how we got that from 4 cards. This is like, we're not even done. We're just getting started. Okay, so I keep hearing that song, wishing you the best, pray that you are blessed. It's lots of joy and love and lots of happiness. I'm better than that. Yeah, so somebody also thinks that they're better than us. They're sitting there hooting, hollering, marinating in venom, cursing under their tongue because maybe we're getting esteem or acclaim or la-di-da, yada-yada. And they're not, and they may have more skills. But that's the thing, acclaim and love and social acceptance, those are all forms of wealth. And unfortunately, if you're a fallen queen or a forsaken queen or a false queen, you don't have the blessing of the divine anymore. Let's drink some of this trendy coffee. I'm excited because I'm such a old crotchety hoe. I'm stuck to my little routine. It's every morning it's lemon and ginger tea, and I'm not deviating. Well, Mama already had a couple cups of that. We're gonna move to the actual caffeine. Cause they know today they're gonna work today, which is just fruit and it's like a sweet, fruity, cold yerba mate. That's the. It's mostly Ecuadorian, other places in South America, but that's my favorite type of yerba mate, by the way. which is just a way of making it with fruit juice, kind of like sangria, but no alcohol. It's actually caffeinated tea. Okay, so somebody also thinks that we don't deserve. It's not fair. There's somebody who's an OG up in here, somebody that should be unshakable is worried about little old us, because that's the thing. When you have Queen Dilettante, is little old us, and some little OG in the field wants to come and destroy us. Why? What you got going on that you're so scared about? Like, I understand times are hard, and I'm gonna say something very controversial, and I actually don't have an opinion on this. So I'm not entirely qualified to say. I'm also exceptionally blessed in terms of economic opportunity. I've always been able to move easy in through markets and earning potentials and all of that stuff. I don't have passing privilege because my skin color can be an impediment for me, but economically, I haven't had that problem. So I enjoy privileges that others don't. But again, it's mutual because I don't have passing privilege. But long story short, I hear a lot, and I'm from Southern California, so you hear this a lot, because there's homeless and refugees, and there's a large Latina and Hispanic population. I don't agree with the statement. They're stealing our jobs. They say often. And I remember one year being like, okay, first of all, America is not doesn't belong to Americans. They didn't found it. They literally stole it. Number one. Number two, have you ever talked to a Native American? Because they're like 300th generation American. And number three, how can somebody come in from a foreign environment, from an environment, a system, a game, an area? How can somebody come in on the scene with a person who already knows the scene, who already knows how to navigate the scene and completely steal the thunder? So if somebody can come into your market, your economy, who doesn't speak your language, and they can still get your job, something is wrong and it's not the job. Yeah, maybe it's true, and maybe they are stealing jobs, but what's that say about your job? What does it say about you? And it's not that you don't have a point, but if you're not asking these kinds of questions, like if you're not self-reflective, there's more to the story. And Chandika, excuse me. Get off. I hear you up there. Come on. Come on. She rambunctious today, that little kitty. 18 months. She's an Aries, so more like 23, 22 months, 21 months. Aries, of course. I tracked Aries like crazy. So that's the thing. Somebody is being like, it's not fair. It's not fair. They can't, I need to destroy them. Okay, so why you be threatened on a newcomer? We come in a little dilettante, little old us, and all of a sudden you got to wage a war. Okay, what's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? Why are you worrying about us? Why you ain't got something going on for yourself? Okay, because we got priest here in the negative. So it's because, okay, so they actually are not trustworthy in their community. They're seduced by power and some kind of role. They want to be hoity-toity, big and mighty. You see that? And they want us all small, fawning all over them. That gets me in a lot of trouble. Let me tell you my experiences with this energy. I've had this happen all my life. And let me just give you a little backstory behind it. I'm kind of neurodivergent, neuroatypical. There might be some kind of Asperger's, autism. I don't care to get it figured out because I'm not impeded by it. And that's the thing, even though some of these impediments do come across on the test, you'll notice, especially in psychological circles, it doesn't really count if the person themselves doesn't acknowledge, like the sign language, sorry, yes, doesn't acknowledge that their life is impacted by it. So for instance, and this is controversial right now, it's at the top of our tongues, a lot of people will call other people narcissistic, which is kind of a misnomer because, first of all, you can say experiences might be narcissistic or like behaviors might be narcissistic, but then to go forward and continue saying that a person is narcissistic, even though they're just exhibiting narcissistic behaviors, is kind of a challenge. Does that make sense? it's better to say that doesn't work for me. It's kind of toxic, or I can tell if I stick around that energy, it's going to be poisonous for me. I know plenty of other people that would love that energy. They would thrive in that energy. Unfortunately, I'm not that person. It's kind of like a person who can't stay at a party if the decimal level gets too loud. There are other people that wouldn't even notice. Me, if I smell pork, I'm out. You want to get rid of a blow seat? Fry up some bacon in your kitchen. I'm so out. I even stopped going to my hairdresser because she was next to a restaurant and I would smell pork all the time. Does that make sense? So we're in this situation here where somebody wants us to say weak and meek, and they're very fussy about how people look, but that's because they are curating this well-maintained narrative that's false in and of its nature. And the reason that they're so hyper vigilant about other people's behaviors is because they want to enforce some type of signaling that's subconscious, that they're the hoity-toity, that they're the bee's knees, that they're the boss, the base, that goat, whatever, what have you. And it's just not true. They don't work from a clean space of okay, look at this. See, they don't have the heart of God. They're not loving. They haven't refined their capacity to attune into the heavenly spirit. They actually have this exaggeration about being God's gift to man. And if they do help you, they will exact a price. They have this little mental abacus where they're keeping tally and keeping score. Yeah, look at that girl in the mirror. So she's fake because sometimes she's weak and she fawns weakness and innocence, and other times they're really a warrior. They're secretly very toxic and abusive. And then I'm getting flip floppy. So they're actually vengeful because they always that whatever they're doing, whatever they're committing their energy into, there's a personal agenda behind it always. And they're a betrayer. They're false. Do not take refuge in this woman, is what I'm being told. Do not take refuge in this woman. She's only here for acclaim and esteem. Okay, ho, you can't give that to yourself. You can't build your own fame. If the game's not fair, make it fair. Go create your own game. What is this? What is this? Okay. Okay, so they harm others. They commit offenses against others. And really what they do is they try to get other people behind them. So they'll this is a really socially this person is very toxic socially because they'll try to conscript others into their agenda just to justify their action. They'll try to rally people against other people that are really a threat to them. That's what I'm getting. I'd like to get off of this. Okay, so they are obsessive and compulsive, and they want to have this reputation of being a rescuer, a crusader, but they're really obsessive and compulsive, and they like to keep people needy, and they're obsessively entitled and dictatorial and controlling, but they're a saboteur. They actually sabotage people that they think are not smart. They're a destroyer. Oh, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. I'm just hearing the ancestors watching and singing, and I'm getting strong Harriet Tubman energy, which could be Oshun, could be Chambasi. It's the same. Um, okay, but this because I'm hearing she wades, and also they're very sensitive to the tempo and environment. If anybody's getting more acclaim, esteem, they get very messed up inside. Yeah, it keeps calling them a femme fatale, and they're saying kick her out. She's getting kicked out. She's a vampire. This is a person that's sucking up the blessings of the environment, the community that she's in, and she's a liar, mentirosa. She actually grooms people for the dark, and that it's going to come out soon that even the okay, smack talking that's going on with her is because she's jealous of somebody real. This person's a fake practitioner. That's not always true. Sometimes you start out a fake practitioner and you don't keep the code the right way in one or two or three of your spirits. And if you're with a really clean pantheon, they'll all turn the light off for you. They won't even keep you safe. They'll be like, hurry up and die so you can come here and face judgment. Once you get into the spiritual world, it's a different story. I know we are down here in the third dimension with feelings and all that, but higher dimensions, they don't care about your feelings, only about truth. And even then, your heart still has to have a pure vibration. This person doesn't. They are not going to go about things the right way. They're going to take way too many shortcuts. And mentirosa, abuser. They actually, they want to guard supply, which is also why they go to war. It's not just to take out the competition, it's to build supply. Yeah, so this is a negative operator, and they're going to be exposed sometime this year. Ooh, oh, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, okay, so we need to keep some things close to the chest. We might be feeling reticent about exposing things, and this person cannot open up their heart. So this is scary because they're coming off as a toxic, malignant, the secretly grandiose type. So it would appear to be vulnerable, but they're not vulnerable. They're actually covert. In their vulnerability, we will detect some vulnerability that's authentic around the larger community. So those who are in positions of power to judge, those who could bring an end to the game, those who could censor, who can admonish publicly, they are sensitive to those kinds of feelings, which is in line. Excuse me, I haven't gone to med school. Let me put it that way. And I'm not a mental health clinician, although I am in the institutional field. So I'm an addictionologist. So what I'm getting is that they have a complex here, okay? So it's not a neurosis, it's a psychosis, meaning it is disabling them. It's not a minor thing, neurosis, it's major, it's a psychosis. And it is pathological. So it's perfunctory, maladaptive, idiosyncratic. They can't always consciously stop themselves. They're going to need to do some deep and heavy lifting to overcome that. And they're going to be stopped soon. So what they're doing is they're collecting, they're doing their final flailing around or whatever that looks like. So whatever's on the way is unstoppable, and that's the Lord of the house here. So when you have this card, is clarifying this card. Oh, so I meant to show you this, and guess what came out with it? The dragon. So this person is not perceiving other people's personal power more. Maybe they have something fancy about them. Maybe they're an elder. Maybe they do have a lot of what you call expertise power. Maybe they're like knowledgeable. I'll tell you this one thing. In an organizational structure, the person with the expertise power is like the third or fourth in command. A person who's really good at their job is never going to make it to the top. You need to be that and then some. It typically is the person who knows how to navigate society more, the person with greater esteem, the popular one that sucks. You'll see it in all, anthropologically, you'll see it in different groups. The alpha is not always the biggest and the most fierce, and it's usually the one who can go around and create social union and cohesion between the rest of the pack or the tribe or the group or whatever. And the beta is actually much more athletically, has much more athletic prowess. They're just not so socially cohesive, and they're not a thinker. I mean, they're not like, they're a follower. They're not a leader. So if somebody's even in like professional organizations, if you look at organizational psychology, anthropology, even anthropology of economics, you'll notice that It's not the person with the, it's called expertise power. It's not the most knowledgeable person in the room that's at the top of the pyramid. It isn't. And we have to discount the Zuckerbergs and the Gates of the world, okay? We can always figure out the exception, but for every one exception, you'll find 20, 200 people that are not the exception. So this person is going to learn that other people actually have a deeper resiliency and radiance than they can fathom. Their mind is honestly, since it's warped and diluted, they only can see victims. They only can see victim profiles. So they are going to mistake themselves. They're going to think that they have a lot more buy-in from the victims and the enablers and the constrictors and the collaborators. They're going to assume that they have a lot more buy-in than what's real. And they don't have the wherewithal, the ability to sense people's true nature and depth. So they're going to flail and fail consistently, as it should. And that's just the case. Other people are not going to tell them when they're feeling vulnerable. So they're going to think that nothing's wrong, but that's just the thing. If all your juice comes from getting propped up, you're not going to hear when something's wrong. If you're invulnerable, you're not going to be susceptible to feedback. You're not going to hear feedback from others. So other people have inner resources. They can give themselves things, and they really actually do have the natural spirit inside of them. And that's what I'm getting. We will follow information, but with God, a sacred vibration, sacred geometry, not no dark hole, not no slithering snake. We need refinement, elegance, beauty. So we are going off that dilettante energy. We're delighting in the pleasure. We're delighting in the joy. We're delighting in the beauty. We're delighting in the promise. We don't need to sit here and think about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s and the P's and the Q's and the T's and the I's. We don't actually care. But somebody doesn't want to hear that, and we can't tell them. Gold egg means if we give them that piece of our heart, they're going to destroy it. They're not safe. They're not safe. Gold egg in this deck means don't share yet. Keep it guarded closely. I'm trying to leave. It's not letting me, so I'm getting annoyed because I'm feeling uncomfortable. So they need weak people. That's what they want. They want to attract people that are looking for something that they don't have. And so if you do bite, they're always going to come at you like, oh, you're the little weak bitch. You came to me last week, last year, last month, last decade, and the earlier in your life, earlier in your career. And I'm always going to play on the things that I think you need from me. So they want somebody empty inside because then they can fill a void, which makes a person. I don't want to give you the psychology around cults and around enslaving other people's minds, but that is the groundwork that you lay in order to do that. And you do need a victim profile. You need a very specific victim type, because going and disrespecting people to their face is not going to get you very far with a strong person. They need weak, broken people. It's not about people that are compassionate, that have this and that and la-di-da and yada yada. They need weak and broken people. Because there's a difference between weak and meek. Meek just doesn't fight. Doesn't mean that they can't. A meek, the definition of meek actually means one who keeps their sword sheathed, like so they don't pull out their weapon. Okay, so they cannot make it past their individuality, and you'll notice that they will have over time taken little shots at our power. They would have tried to access us in multiple ways. They're trying to take away the thing that they perceive to give us power. Don't talk to that person. Don't pray this mantra. Don't believe this about yourself. Don't pursue this thing that your intuition, your soul is asking you to pursue. Don't spread your wings and fly. Is essentially what they're saying. So no wonder I hear the ancestors singing. Yeah, so they're trying to hide our beauty from us. We have inner radiance, beauty, skillfulness, talent, ability. And the peacock gets a lot of jealousy from others, not only because they're beautiful, but because it looks effortless what they're doing. It isn't. It's that swan swimming so gracefully, but underwater, their feet are like, It's the same thing with a geisha. You know, if you go through geisha training, you're told it should look like you're floating on air, like you're just sliding across the ground. They shouldn't see you taking your steps. And then when you look behind all of the geisha training, you'll realize so much goes into something that looks so simple. Does that make sense? So if you're being served by geisha, it doesn't look like anything. It looks like a very beautiful waitress, or a very beautiful hostess, or a very beautiful entertainer, a very beautiful courtesan. It doesn't, you don't think about all the little things about keeping your body in shape and learning about all the manners and learning about diplomacy, because you're dealing with high ranking individuals. There's a lot that goes into it. Okay. So this person, all they can think about is keeping us in their trap, and they can't, but they're gate kept in some way. And it's actually pretty firm. We might look like prey, but see, the elk is like a father energy. So the thing of, okay, and we're way too individualistic, but according to God, God made us that way. Okay, no, see, this person thinks that they just need to keep trying and breaking us down because they're dogged and getting what they want. See, why don't you go after what you want? And if you can't say what's up to somebody's face, you ain't about the right stuff. I'm confused. Hey, cutie. You calm now? She likes the cat. They like to pick at the trash can on the counter. I do a lot of food prep, mostly lemon pills and coconut. So, oh, we're done. Okay. Yeah, so they're not allowed inside. And really, they're talking about our soul. So for some reason, it picks the love oracle. I'm not sure why. Oh, well, stuff comes flying right out, all face down. Yeah, we're perfect for them for something, and they don't want to let us go. Also, there's karma here from a previous lifetime, and they may be using sex magic or actually be hiding an attraction, is what I'm getting. Yeah, so our ancestors don't like them. And we don't feel safe around them. But they're going to try to convince us that we are. And they're trying to make come back into our life. They want to reconcile something. Okay, so it's really to gain our trust, but it's a no. Yeah, and they want to lower our guard. They want to get us to lower our defenses. Okay, so that means you're a diabolical little bitch. I'm gonna tell you right now to your face. F you, hoe. Go. See, I'm about to start cursing hoes. Okay, let me stop. Yeah, so the group needs to know, and that's why we've been waiting so long for karmic expediation, retribution, karmic judgment, punishment, whatever, what have you. It's because there's no support for us in the environment where we're around. And that's what happens to God's chosen. He'll take you aside and make you spend some time alone. He'll sit you the F down. So there needs to be some activities that happen in the group that we belong to, or in the community that we belong to, because what will happen is we won't have to waste our breath explaining to people. They'll know on their own. We've been very passionate about taking space and separation from this person, or standing in our boundaries, or whatever, what have you. No, we've been very passionate in releasing. Now, for some people, this will be an ex, a lover, a la-di-da, yada yada, but it doesn't have to be. And let me tell you, doesn't matter. Doesn't even if we weren't involved with them, they're using sex energy on us. Now, it might be because it's a way to make what you want come towards you. Sex energy, you don't have to go out and get it. You can attract it in, but it could also be that they want to ask, they want, and they're, and I'm getting woman on woman energy too. So there's jealousy there. And I just don't understand this need to dominate. I've had this happen all my life. You know, me, I'm kind of hard to reach. I'm a little bit on the spectrum. Um, you know, I have a very high IQ, so I'm always off on like a beautiful mind kind of deal. Like I get lost in my little craft and my little, and honestly, like pain doesn't bother me. Fear, I'm fearless. So like I barely notice when somebody's trying to get my attention, and oftentimes they'll resort to like a bad tactic. And it's oftentimes older women that just want affection, adoration. They want to feel like all of the nurturing they're trying to give you is being received. But the thing is, like, I'm not asking for anything. I don't need you to cook for me, to clean for me. I don't need you to love on me. I need you to fuck up off me. I just need some space. I'm overwhelmed, overstimulated by whatever the F this is. I don't need explanation. I need you to stop, to slow your roll, to stop. Keep pushing energy at me, thinking that, and I should be helpful and grateful that you did whatever and that you're doing whatever to upgrade me or help me out. I didn't ask. I didn't ask. So I've become your project. Is really what this is. Um, and so think about anybody, man or woman. If we're dry, if we're in our own energy, if we're kind of independent, if we're unbothered, if we're underwhelmed, if we're uninterested, if we're unimpressed, if we're not singing their praises and getting on our knees worshiping them, they're going to have some kind of complex around it and they're going to force the issue. They're not going to respect boundaries or space. They're going to come in and make something happen. And then when it doesn't happen, then they retaliate spiritually. They retaliate in the spiritual world. So let's go through. I want to talk about the spiritual retaliation first. Yeah, so we're recovering from that. They probably put a hex on us, a curse on that, on us or whatever, but the really diabolical hoes are actually getting shut down. Their magic's been turned off and their lineages are being punished. And so some folks that have been unwrangled by their ancestors are going to start to get beat downs from the ancestor plane, the ancestor realm, excuse me. Yeah, we're ready. Something better is coming along within the next few months. An opportunity will happen. New, completely unrelated to this, but for right now and within the next few weeks, we'll start to see things happening with this person specifically. We're being guided to remain positive so that the recovery happens quickly, faster. Yeah, because we're being rerouted. And so the spirit of discernment should be with us as well. If you're thinking about making a change on your own, it's not the right time because there's something to believe. So we need an experience that brings us into, yeah, there's something better. Whatever we're thinking about right now, there's something better. Okay, so yes, I was. So the spiritual interference. And then also there is sexual energy here. If we believe it, if we're catching creepy vibes, if we're nauseous when we get around a certain person, it might not be our nerves because I have a very sensitive nervous system as well. And then it went crazy because I got on antibiotics that like made my system much more reactive, much more sensitive. And I also had like a chemical exposure. It was mold poisoning. There's different types of chemical exposure. Mine was mold. So it rewrote my body. It made my nervous system a lot more sensitive. Like I can't sit there and say nothing when something's agitating me. I will. So if we're suspecting that somebody's put magic on us, especially outside of retribution, but more about like dominance energy, like I'm gonna make you love me, I'm gonna make you worship me, I'm gonna make you give me affection, adoration, appreciation, acclaim. Oops, okay, so that was a mic drop. Okay, so if we're suspecting, and this is more along the love vibe. So we have the retaliation, we're recovering from it. Now's not the right time to confront them. Remain positive because we should really have trust in the Lord because that's going to be handled right in front of our eyes. And we're going to diminish our blessing if we confront them because what's going to happen is we're going to receive our blessing right in front of them, even if we're not in the same space. So they might hear a day or two later that we got blessed and that's going to make them destroy themselves or the Lord will put a situation where they'll know that we were chosen over them and they're going to lose they're on demon time. So part of what I'm being told is we have to let go. We shouldn't worry about this person healing or worry about this person's karma. Yes, all those things will happen, but not as we thought and not when we thought, and we're missing the lesson. Because if we're a loving person, the abundance comes in by being loving. Demons can fight demons and get off and manifest out of that energy. If you're of the divine kingdom, you can't have hate in your heart. You won't even make it back into the kingdom with that. So abundance is trying to come in, but we have to stop watching and worrying about what they did and wallowing around wounded. We have to stop marinating in our wounds. Yeah, forgiveness. It doesn't matter that they did what they did, and yeah, they should have to pay, and yeah, they should be accountable, and all those things are valid and true. Girl, let me just tell you, drug abuse, domestic violence, sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, all before the age of 17. Okay, so I get it. Wanting to hold abusers accountable, I understand. Knowing that there's entire groups and organizations of abusive people that do abusive, sometimes diabolical, sometimes very dangerous things, I totally get it. I could have a list that's multiple pages if I wanted to. I totally get it. I totally get it. But look, girl, we survived. We're still here. That means we're blessed. The anointing, okay, baby, don't worry about it. They'll get theirs. If you want to F your enemy over, if you want to F them up the booty so bad, if you want to stick it to them in the depths of their soul, let me tell you how to do it. Pray for their healing. You know why? Because they will come to their knees one day, understanding who they are and the causes that they made that led to whatever outcome brings them to their knees. Okay, that brings them to their knees. Now, if you're feeling extra venomous, get rid of that venom right now. So when I'm feeling extra venomous, I'll go, Baba, that's how I talk to God. Baba, come get this hoe. Come collect your child, because I'm going to put them on the ground and you're going to be scraping them up. Let me tell you, I pray they get healed. I pray they know the very depths of their soul and who they were as a being that went around doing this, making these types of causes. But they fully understand the effects of their karma. And I get very righteous. But that's me letting go of the venom, so because, girl, I can return to smiles and giddies within a few moments. It's kind of psychotic how I could be infuriated and happy so quickly afterwards, because I give it to God. A little scientific hoe ain't gonna understand that. I know that a lot of scientists believe in God, but I'm talking about the actual logical in a textbook, a history book, a science book. Where are your findings? I need empirical evidence. I'm not talking about those hoes. Okay, so that's how you deal with your enemies. Pray for their healing and their salvation and their redemption. Because do you know what you need to go through to get redeemed? All of your karma has to be burnt off and purified. Now, oftentimes, the 45 seconds after death, that happens. Whenever it, not after our death, but like it can take 8 days for you to kind of go into the higher realms. It depends on the conditions of death. It could take 8 hours. It could take 8 days. I'm not going to get into that. When you're about to enter into that divine realm, what will happen is you'll come up across an attendant or Lord Shiva himself, depending on what kind of rank of a priesthood you belong to. But because Guru Deva is what we call him, he's all priests have to honor him. Whether they know it or not, believe it or not, I don't care. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So there's this thing that Lord Shiva can do where, like, you'll see this happen all the time. The goddesses normally do that, but they're like, you know, really, it's the, I don't know English. I don't have English, but basically you activate the eye, and what happens is, like, you feel all of your karmic causes for your entire lifetime. And basically they say Shiva can burn off 80 years worth of karma in 45 seconds. But there's a way for that to happen before we die. So if you were on a divine path, typically what'll make you turn evil like this is you felt like there was no more blessing on your life, and like God doesn't love you no more, and so you went to the other side to get power because you weren't willing to live the rest of your life without power. But why would you live without power if you had power at birth? Because you didn't use it correctly and you're off mission. You didn't understand the assignment, and you didn't report home or report back to the home office for coaching, feedback, and delegation. You didn't go to the re-education camp, and that's what poverty, spiritual impoverishment is. It's re-education camp. Does that make sense? Because there's other places. There's other places. There's a penal colony. We call that the pit, known as hell. Okay, and there's you have a charging sheet. You can be walking around the spiritual world with as a felon. When we access the energy of your soul and we pull up your record, all this charges are go. You have to burn that off. You can do it in the flesh, but most people can't do it because they need to stop worrying about other people's blessings. They need to stop worrying about what other people got. They need to stop feeling and comparing themselves. You got to compare to compete. So you need to stop comparing yourself to other people, and you need to be humble. Sit down, be humble. What will usually happen is you'll spend the rest of your life poor, but what happens is after death, you don't go somewhere where you're not free for an eternity. Does that make sense? That's what I'm getting. This person needs forgiveness, but not themselves as well. And they're not going to come into no forgiveness or abundance for this person. They need to go through a lifetime of suffering. I said it that way because this hoe is extra diabolical. Yeah, so within a few months, we'll be in a completely new cycle, but I do feel like within a few weeks, something, okay, hold on, confirmation. We need to reconsider because, yeah, these big changes will be happening in a few months and we should take action. So prepare. Yeah, declare independence. Don't let them take it from you. Perfect timing within the next few months, okay? I'm hearing due mesi. So that means 2 months. Sei oto. So that's 6 to 8 weeks. Semana, yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. So abundance is coming, but the next few weeks, declare independence now because also as an empath, we're really loving, you know? So there's a little function of the universe where if we're praying for a person, interceding for a person, we may be shielding them from karmic retribution or even the return to sender. Like we shouldn't be doing peaceful resolution. We shouldn't be doing return to sender. That's for the common people. Here, us light workers, we have divine gifts. We don't need to go talk to the devil for spiritual power or whatever, what have you. God gave it to us. We can do more with the prayer. I know hoes that do hocus pocus and abracadabra. Girl, I can do 10 times more praying in front of a clock than you can with all your candles. And what happens if I go pray at the altar? So you go do your little low Saturn work, but I'm high Saturn. I'll do my high magic over here. And I'll start my ceremony with a prayer. So we need to get out of this energy because we're still around, since we're around swamp ass hoes, we're drinking from the swamp, which is okay, but it does make it harder to get the messages into practice discernment because you don't have any perfect examples, you know. If you're a plastic surgeon and you do rhinoplasties and breast augmentation, how often in your work do you come up across a perfect nose? Not often. What'll happen is you'll go to a party one day and you'll see somebody with a perfect nose. It doesn't mean, since you're in the work that you're in, you're coming across people that want to fix their nose. You hear what I'm saying? It's like that. If you're it's that, you know, lie down with dogs, wake up with fleas, hang out in the barbershop for too long, you get a haircut. So we do need to be around bigger, brighter, and better people. And that's also part of the take action. We need to make the decision that we're not an automaton. So we've been walking around as a puppet. Somebody's been puppeting us around. there'll be a sign in a few weeks that it's time to start doing more than preparation, but actually taking action. The action right now is preparation, and try not to share the plan. Yeah, okay. So as I was just saying, I love my job. We need to remain positive for this recovery. Within a few weeks, right now is not the time. Do not confront anybody. It's really hard. Once I know that you effing with me, I'm coming for you to your face, in your face. I'm gonna get right up in it and we're gonna have it out. Doesn't work with everybody. It's not always the time to do that. But me, I will fight you. No. We need to be better than that. I have Mars in Leo, Jupiter in Aries, Uranus in Sagittarius, Grand Trine with my node, and Pluto and all these other little things. I will fight you. I will fight you. But we don't need to. We don't need to. God's gonna take care of it. Yeah, the situation will improve. And that's what I heard as well. The language that I use is don't show your power, but what the Lord has been telling me recently has been do not show your strength. And see, I come from an old school. When you're weak, appear strong. When you're strong, appear weak. Don't ever disclose information that lets the enemy know how to defeat you. And that's just the thing. Even me, I have that policy. Like if I'm sharing la di da yada yada, there's 90% that I'm holding back. As a teacher, I only ever transmit in public spaces 10% what I know, and in private spaces, 20% of what I know. The rest goes to my chosen children or my progeny or my prodigy. Does that make sense? The rest is family secret. Okay, so I might be sharing it all, it appears, but you really only get in less than 10% of what's up. And I know how to speak in a way that encodes things. A lot of people don't. I could be saying a whole lot, sharing a whole lot, but not a lot is actually being said unless you're listening for it. And even then, you might perceive that you're hearing everything, but you're really hearing next to nothing. And that's just the thing. We all have our secret weapon. My secret weapon is being underestimated, and only enemies do it. You will not underestimate me if you're not an enemy. And see, that took a long time to learn. So this taking action is about preparation. And I'm hearing that Willow Smith song. What does she say? Wait a minute. I think I lost my consciousness and I just can't find it. And I'm here, right here. Wait a minute. I think I lost my consciousness in the sixth dimension. Okay, so this person cannot stand in truth, and they're also demonic. We can't stop doing what we're doing. Don't sit back and do nothing, because what's, girl, let me tell you, love is coming, and this person is going to try to block it, whether intentionally or not. But if I'm being told that they're demonic, they might. It's telling me to give everybody more information. So this person is coming off demonic. It doesn't always mean that they are of the infernal kingdom. It does. Now it may not be intentional, because you get this a lot with toxic people. And my understanding is that those people walking around with the toxicity is really, in a year from now, we'll be in a very, very committed relationship, is actually on the way. So this couple of weeks is because we meet somebody that gives us the juice that we need to combat this, because it's an energetic fight. Somebody's been up in our energy trying to puppet us around, and it's not working. So now they're attacking, and the attack is multiple. It's multiple rounds, multiple spaces, multiple times, multiple dimensions, and it's also in the physical. Typically, it's gossip campaigns, smear campaigns. Yeah, I just started putting that out there. I'm telling my friends, I'm dating again. Send me a tall, hunky alpha. The rest I can fill in the blanks. I just need somebody high worth, high integrity, high value, who's well endowed in their mastery. Somebody with something to do. I don't need you to be up underneath me all the time. I'll see you on date night. Bye. I'm that kind of hoe, but you better want a future and a family. So we need to do the same. We need to put that out there into the community. Like, hey, I'm looking for this. I'm starting this business, and da da da. And maybe not right away in terms of the place where we're dangerously, exposed. We might just put the intention into the universe, and then a few weeks, when something shifts, most likely it'll be a relationship. Then we can start slowly putting something else out. Anything that's new, don't share. It's like a baby. You don't tell people you're pregnant in the first trimester. You don't take your baby out of the house too much the first couple of weeks, first couple of months that they're born. But then you do take them out of the house a lot after that, because you want them to build their immune system. But you want them first to get used to the bacteria in the home, because that actually affects their microbiome, which actually helps their immunity as they get older. It's the same thing with secrets, with projects, with new relationships, with new things going on in our life. It's like a baby. We don't share about it right away. You wait to that kind of safety zone, past the third trimester, to speak up. And even then, you might not say anything to the baby's 3 months old and already born, right? So a year from now, this is at the top of I have a pyramid here. Oh, I have 22 cards. Okay. Ask for help from others means put the word out about what your intention is, not necessarily how you're going to follow through with the intention. Makes sense, priestess. Just because you're doing something doesn't mean that you need to tell people exactly what you're doing. You can say like, oh, I'm looking to make changes. You can say, I'm looking to get out there. I'm looking to have new experiences. You can say like, I want to change up my social group a little bit. I want to meet new people so that I can have new experiences. You don't need to be like, I'm looking to date. I'm looking to start a business. I'm looking to get up out from underneath this oppression. I'm looking to get up away from this community. I'm looking to go on to greener pastures. We don't need to be that detailed. Oh, wait a minute. I think I lost my consciousness and I just can't find it. Oh, I'm here. I'm here. Okay, so this person can't regulate themselves. They're out of control, girl. um, and then sixth dimension is where the spirit of separation resides. So this person is stuck in the past as well, but they're very future paced. So they actually in the future have a demonic power. They rank in the demon kingdom, whether they know it or not. When you're this high level and you infiltrate a spiritual community, a lot of people in this church secretly worship the devil, which is opposite from my community. I'm in the Voodoo community. A lot of people in Voodoo also go to church. Yeah, so why don't we just rifle through the deck right quickly? I don't want to, but we're kind of done here. I just got a text message. I need to go. Okay, so you know what I heard? Reef. So when I hear reef, I'm thinking marijuana, reef. But this is strife, but I heard reef. So we could have non-English speaking relatives, especially ancestral. Now, these are powerful ancestors, but they're not the benevolent kind. So I don't really like to stop avenging angels. But I want to know what it is they're reacting and responding to. Why do you think I need you to avenge something for me? Do you know something that I don't know? When did I communicate that aggression and agitation and war was how I get down and get around? Can you just explain to me what it is you're perceiving, what it is you're thinking, what it is you're understanding about me and what I'm asking you to do? Does that mean I'm getting that? Queen of Wands made an appearance. Somebody's trying to change places with our destiny. They want our life. Well, that is why the devil needs your souls, because they need to swap destinies with you. When you go down to the lower realms, time works much differently. Like 72 years here in the next heaven on the fifth dimension, that's like a year there. And then 84 years down here in the sixth dimension, that's like a day. So, but one day here is like 25 years in the realm below us. And those realms, bodies they're not there. Mineral kingdom, bacterial kingdom, yes, but bodies are not in those lower realms. It's consciousness. Okay, so they will be exposed as a demon. Five of Swords with the Sun, they will be exposed as a demon. We need to stay with our heart very clean, Queen of Cups. Regina de Copa, you need to stay very clean. And see, she's sitting there knowing that information is going to come out. Il Vegeto, the Magi here, Magus. Ooh, Tahuti. Ooh, love me some of him. Okay. Yeah, okay, so with the Queen of Cups and the Sun, it's talking about soul retrieval, having our life restored in some kind of way. Something dirty happened to us. Sun and there's no way anybody can take away our power unless we give it to them. They'll try, they'll really try to bring us to believe that whatever, I don't know what evil people do, what cons and schemes toxic people do, but they'll try to work on our personal power because that's a threat to them. Authentic people and empowered people frighten and enrage a toxic person. Okay, so this person is on the throne of the Dark Kingdom. I wouldn't go around this person, and I kept being like, okay, I don't want to say that. 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 Yeah, so they're going to be cut down fully. They are. They're going to be cut down fully, but not right away. We need to be patient. Ten of Swords, Four. So they have built an infernal kingdom upon the earth. They just called it an empire. Oh, my darling. Okay, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to do so. Take good care, honey. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, darling. Smash that like button, baby. Bye.